quite like a Saturday in the Overwatch League. Welcome back, fans. We are live in Los Angeles for Day 3 of Stage 2 in the 2019 season. For the second straight day, the Florida Mayhem will lead off the day on the big stage. The Mayhem are still seeking their second win of the season, and today they'll face our 2018 Grand Finals runners-up. The Philadelphia Fusion are 5-3 on the year after getting swept by the NYXL on Thursday. The Fusion will look to get back on track today and return to the top 5 in our standings. This match goes down in just 30 minutes. Welcome, everybody. We are inside the energized Blizzard Arena. Welcome to the Watchpoint Pre-Show presented by State Farm. I'm Chris Bucket, and I'm joined by the full desk today. Zoe, she's getting a weekend. We gave her one this year. Instead, we brought in the great Hexagrams. How you doing today, Hex?
I'm doing great. You know, Semler's off doing Semler things, so I think Zoe gets a well-deserved weekend off. She's been here the entire time, not lounging around in Britain like you two.
That's true. I took a long time off, and it was great.
It was great. We've all been watching you from your bedroom. We'll catch it streams later. For now, let's talk about the Overwatch League. We're serving up another awesome show for you today. The Chengdu Hunters don't just do battle on stage. These guys also battle it out in the kitchen. Emily Tang joins them for a good old-fashioned cook-off. Plus, Paris earned a decisive win over Guangzhou Thursday. We'll chat with some of the Eternals' biggest stars, and we're flexing our financial advisor muscles and telling you which teams to buy stock in and which to sell right away for Stage 2. When the pros take the stage, you'll see the Mayhem taking on the Fusion, plus Chengdu facing Paris, and the NYXL battling the Shanghai Dragons. Our second match of the day, though, pits two Stage 1 playoff contenders against each other. The Toronto Defiant and the Boston Uprising are both 1-0 to start Stage 2. Toronto dropped the Washington Justice last night, while Boston completed an impressive reverse sweep of Atlanta on Thursday. After dealing flex tank note between stages, Hex, do you expect such impressive performance so far from Boston?
Boston is expect the unexpected from them, because on paper you look at this note trade and I'm like, what, you just trade away your best player, one of your team leaders? Okay, I guess makes sense. But Boston always does this every time. Beginning last season, they come in with this roster, everyone's like, garbage. I actually play really well. This season, they made Stage 1 playoffs, so you can never bet against them. If I was 1,000% sure that Boston was going to lose, I still wouldn't make that bet. I wouldn't make that bet. They're doing it with smoke and mirrors.
Keeps his money. I like that.
Individually, when I'm looking at Boston themselves, I'm actually paying attention to Color Hex. It's a guy that I've been quite high on for quite some time. He comes from New Zealand. He's a Kiwi, and he's been stuck on the Zarya, which is a role he's not as comfortable on. But now we're starting to see him flex a little bit more onto the Widowmaker. Phenomenal play on the Widowmaker. I played against him on Widow Deathmatch server the other night. He dunked on me. He got 50 kills. I had 20. And he's just ridiculous, honestly. And it's good to see him finally getting onto roles that he is more comfortable at, because originally I imagine a lot of Boston fans quite upset. They'd seen this pickup. They're like, you know, what's going on? But I think this guy has potential to be one of the star flex DPS players, kind of like akin to maybe EQO as well, on the same level as him. So big things expected from Boston with him in this lineup now.
On the other side of the stage, we have the Toronto Defiant, who started the stage strong with the win yesterday. So, Sideshow, who are you watching today as they face off against Boston?
Okay, the most fun player to watch in this rivalry for sure is Neko. He used to play for the Boston Uprising. I don't want to say there's bad blood.
He's got some swag.
There might be a bit of bad blood here. Whenever you watch Neko play when they played previously in Stage 1, he spams this Boston spray repeatedly. He was throwing out the tactical crouch on them a couple of times. And then Toronto Defiant have also added a new player to their roster, I'm 37, who's another guy that you should definitely be watching in this matchup. He's basically a very unknown prospect. He's speedrun the path to pro. He basically started his professional career about 3 weeks ago, and now he's in the Overwatch League, so not
a bit ridiculous.
He's on the track to be a
by the end
billionaire.
of the month. Commissioner of the end of the month. Nate's out of a job.
Sorry, Nancer. You've been replaced.
And he looked all right in his match. We haven't seen too much of him yet.
We'll see more from him a little bit later on today. From 2 teams in the top 5 to 1 team in the top 1, let's talk about the NYXL. That's right, they're 8-0 in the regular season matches so far, including a 4-0 stomping of the Philadelphia Fusion on Thursday. Today, they'll take on the Shanghai Dragon Squad, coming off a hard-fought loss to the LA Gladiators. So New York lost in the first round of the Stage 1 playoffs, but that didn't seem to slow them down much, did it, Bren?
No, absolutely not. I mean, New York are a team. We know they've got impeccable teamwork, chemistry, built it up. These guys are phenomenal when they're working together, and that shows as well in their gameplay coming into Stage 2, because they haven't changed stuff up, really. They're still sticking with this triple tank, triple support. They sometimes flex onto a bit of a different composition with Batiste in the game, but overall, they can rely on this teamwork to get them through these matches against the weaker opponents. How that's going to stack up against some stronger teams, I'm not too sure. But at least for now, they know that they can fall back on what they've been running all of Stage 1, and they can reliably win a lot of these games. But the map pool in particular that I'm looking at today, I think they might have to be pushed a little bit out of their comfort zone. Hanamura in particular, we've seen a lot of success with the bunker composition. Gibraltar and Eichenwald as well, kind of be running a lot more Winston triple tank, triple supports, which, you know, they like to play the Reinhardt, but again, we're seeing that transition period over for a lot of these teams. They're playing a lot more Winston because he's much stronger in the latest patch.
I'll give you an early prediction. Might not be classed as a hot take, honestly. It's a warm take at the very least, though.
Nice.
When you look at the schedule of the NYXL in Stage 2, I think this team is going to go back-to-back undefeated stages.
Whoa.
Yes, they didn't do well in the playoffs for Stage 1, but I can see a 14-0 on the cards here for the NYXL.
Crazy.
Who's going to beat them? What? They play Philadelphia Fusion twice, and they've already smacked them around in week 1. And then they play the Reign twice at the end. Unless the Reign massively step up, this is going to be an undefeated stage, I think, for the NYXL. I think no team has ever done that.
14 for 14.
Yeah,
that's a pretty hot take.
That is a hot take, though, because anything could happen realistically now with the patch notes. That's all I'm going to say.
It's
You're just
unlikely,
a bit of a moron.
But a bit of a moron. We'll see. Okay, wait until later, and then we'll see who's the moron.
Let's keep this rolling here. We got to talk about Shanghai because they have certainly improved since last season, but they're still at the bottom half. In fact, the bottom 5 here in the league right now, Hex. What do you think's holding this team back right now?
Some compositional, questionable moves, I suppose. There was a lot of Junkrat overall is what I'm trying to say. The Junkrat was not good. Shanghai is what I came up with here. I don't understand why you continue to run the Junkrat for 25 minutes. The tire efficiency, 0.36. Tires and ultimate, you should be getting 1 every time for the most part. It's actually a game-turning ultimate, and they got shut down on the Junkrat refused to switch off, and they played it for 25 minutes. It's the most Junkrat we've seen. It's not a small sample size, but that tire got nothing.
It's not Platinum, kids. Switch your heroes. One team that is climbing out of the bottom half of the league is the Paris Eternal. Paris rocked Guangzhou on Thursday, and when we come back, they'll tell us why that's just the first step in some big plans they have for us in Stage 2. This is Watchpoint. We'll be right back. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
There's a lot of talk about the Paris Eternal being the best 3-3 team in the league.
That storyline died. Very quick death also.
The reason for our early success was that when we started scrimming, we were in Europe.
They started practicing with really strong GOATS teams.
Eternal looked like the masters of the triple tank support style.
And yet the rest of the league managed to catch up and then overtake them.
I'm not sure really why we started struggling later in the States. Maybe other teams just caught up to the lead we had in the beginning, maybe. I think we've just improved our communication and teamwork to get better as a team. We also got some different players in, and it's like a fresh start.
And their coach Damon stepped down.
Fefe being the new head coach, it's like pretty much the same, really. He's the head coach now, so I think that's going to help us. I genuinely believe we have one of the best coaching staff in the league.
4-0 victory for the Paris Eternal The question is now, can they keep this momentum going?
Stage 1 we had our struggles, but it was like a learning curve, you know? So I'm comfortable in any meta. A meta that enables more big DPS plays can be good for us. It's too early to tell, but I want to believe so.
I feel like we're definitely gonna get playoffs in stage 2.
I think the same. I'm very convinced we're gonna make playoffs this stage.
The Paris Eternal will take on the the Chengdu Hunters, who are making their Stage 2 debut today. The unpredictable Hunters could be a fun team to watch as the league grows into the new patch. But if you're the Eternal, you couldn't really ask for a better start to the stage, right, Hex?
It's looking very good for them, and I like that they've made some changes. Look, things weren't working, and a lot of teams are hesitant to make changes like that. Let's stick with our core, let's stick with our ideas, but then putting Cloudy in, who's a more versatile tank, and especially against a team who's unpredictable, like Chengdu. He can play the Winston, he can play the Reinhardt, he can play a lot of different things, offers flexibility. It's going to be so important going forward in Stage 2, because as you've already seen, it's not just 3-3 anymore. So I think Paris has made the right changes, turning over the roster, and they're off to a great start.
As we saw in that piece, the Paris Eternal don't quite understand why they ended up dropping off in Stage 1, but they were hot at the beginning, and they're hot at the beginning of Stage 2. One of the biggest issues for them was their schedule in Stage 1 only made that hot streak in the first 2 weeks last for 2 matches. But in Stage 2, their first 2 weeks encapsulates a whole half or more than half of their stage. They've got 4 matches in the first 2 weeks. If they can stay hot for these first 2 weeks, they can definitely take down Hunters, Mayhem, Fuel, and then they're 4-3 with a very strong chance of going into the playoffs. So even if they have the same kind of situation where they cool off later in the stage or other teams end up catching up, it might not matter as much this time around. I'm feeling good about Paris.
They're jumping up the standings. Now, Bren, we mentioned that the Hunters are unpredictable, but what are you predicting to see from Chengdu today?
So, Chengdu, we all know they like to play a little bit of the ball, you know, so I've actually brought out a nice little prop here for us. Now, Chengdu, if you end up using this, I want royalties on it, okay? Yo, I call it the Aimon Yo, and it's a beautiful piece of kit. The Yo-Yo-to Chad, whatever you want to call it, yeah? Sure, there it is. It's a beautiful piece of kit. And I think these recent patch changes are really going to be helping them. The patch change I'm thinking of in particular is the fact that Hammond can now use his adaptive shield when he's in roly-poly mode. Roll mode is what it's called. I like to call it roly-poly, rolls off the tongue a little bit better. But I've actually got a lovely little situation, a little prop to explain what's going to be happening in this game here today. So I've got my lovely assistant here, Sideshow, Joshua Sideshow Wilkinson, I should call you by your first name. And you've got the Paris flag here.
I am scared, be careful.
And here we go. All right, let's give this a go.
Use this chair for protection. See? Good thing I brought it.
All right, you ready? Are you sure? I don't know if I can control this. I'm going to be honest with you.
Sometimes you swing and miss on him.
Nailed it. We got it. So I'm surprised I didn't hit you. I'm going to be real. But that's what's going to happen in this match.
Thank you for that visual, Brad. Very impressed, and so are the kindergartners watching at home. Our first match of the day hits the Florida Mayhem against the Philadelphia Fusion. Both teams are 0-1 this stage, and the Mayhem are in the midst of a roster overhaul, but they played pretty well against London yesterday. So the Fusion are coming off a brutal 4-0 loss to New York. So Sideshow, let's first talk about Philly here. What happened in that matchup? What's going wrong?
Well, they certainly didn't look impressive when they played against the NYXL, but in my opinion, they really got punished by a team that really knows the meta very well and was incredibly comfortable. The Philadelphia Fusion tried a lot of different stuff, and they didn't look to be very prepared or very clean with how they wanted to execute it. I think they could have gotten away with it against a worse team. The roster itself is still very individually skilled. We'll see how it goes. But they've still got a lot of work to do to really hone themselves and become a top team. It's clear that there's a big gap at the moment between them and the teams that are really comfortable with the meta. But they're very flexible, and I think as the stage goes on, you'll see them start to get more and more comfortable with what's happening.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Josh. I think this is a team with a lot of potential packed into the roster, very flexible indeed. But one of their biggest downfalls is the fact that they are quite an emotional team. And this affects them, actually. You watch them on the stage when things are going rough, you can see they're a bit down and dejected, but it can also work out in some positive scenarios as well, as we saw earlier in the stage.
We let them hold it too long. I think we should be willing to sacrifice people in order to kill people. Like, we always like disengage, but don't be scared. Just die for the cause, you know? Like, if you can do more damage and because of that we kill someone, like right now everyone is playing like not to die, you know? But we shouldn't play like that.
Don't play scared. Earlier this week, Florida announced they will be moving in a new direction with an all-Korean roster. And Coach, Hex, Are you on board with the direction the Mayhem are taking?
Yeah, I'm all aboard the Mayhem bus, as it were. I have a great deal of faith in their assistant GM. It's Scott Tester, also known as Bare Hands, who ended up building that New York roster that we touted so much earlier in this broadcast. He's got a great eye for talent, knows what moves they want to make. So right now in stage 2, they're not going to be worlds better. I think they're going to be a little bit better because when you have an all-Korean team, communication obviously becomes that much more easier. But look at stage 3. There's some rumblings of some signings. They want to rebuild it in Scott's image, and I have faith in him. He's built good rosters before.
It's time to get their second win today. Hex likes what the Mayhem are cooking, and when we come back, we'll see what the Chengdu Hunters are actually cooking. And we staged a cooking competition between Aemon and Jinmu to see which Chengdu player knows their way around the kitchen best. That's next on the Watchpoint Pre-Show.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Hello foodies, welcome to the Chengdu Cook-Off. If you didn't know it already, Chengdu is one of China's food capitals. I thought I would put the hunter skills to the test, so here I'll have Aemon and Jinmu each cook one Chengdu dish. And at the end, we're gonna have their teammates decide who was the better cook. 15 minutes on the clock, your time starts right now. Jinmu, 你在做什么？
麻婆豆腐。
那成都风味的菜一般都有什么特点呢？
比较麻辣，但是它的麻辣是好吃的那种麻辣。
金木，你的麻婆豆腐做的怎么样啊？
看样子应该是快好了吧？
味道不错，好香。
这是我给3位裁判做的麻婆豆腐，请大家开吃吧。
吃完不会中毒吧？哇，有点怕。
还可以啊。
我觉得吃的挺不错的。8分吧，8分。
我觉得这道菜，假如叫酸菜豆腐的话，我给7分；但叫麻婆豆腐的话，我给2分。
对我来说有点太酸了，我个人是比较喜欢辣一点的。5分吧。
你才给2分，那你还继续吃？
因为这很酸啊，很合我的味道。
因为你现在在给我们做哪道菜呢？
做番茄炒鸡蛋。
那这个番茄炒鸡蛋做过吗？
没有做过。
刚才你的队友金木做的麻婆豆腐难度也挺高的，你感觉怎么样？
感觉随便虐他，随便打败他。就西红柿炒鸡蛋，炒西红柿的时候要把西红柿炒软一点，这样炒出来的西红柿炒鸡蛋会更好吃。希望3位评委够味。
好，那就开始了啊。
就不客气了。
还行啊。这个就是没有那么甜，就是我喜欢吃甜一点的，然后就7分吧。
感觉
味道很淡，感觉西红柿的味道很淡。我比较喜欢吃西红柿浓一点的味道。6分吧，我觉得对我来说还不错哎，就口味还是有对到我的胃。我觉得蛮甜的，我会给8分吧。
Well, thank you both for participating in the Chengdu cook-off. How was it cooking for your teammates?
感觉当他们的保姆了，给他们做饭，感觉很开心吧，因为平时就没有机会做过饭。
Jinmu, you made an amazing mapo tofu, and your final score was 15.
挺多的了。
Amon came in like a wrecking ball and scored 21 points.
Easy club.
Thank you both for participating in the Chengdu cook-off, and good luck in stage 2.
Great stuff, Emily. Now it's time for some financial advice from our non-certified analyst. Which stocks should people be buying in stage 2? Hex, let's start with you. What are we buying?
He may not be the best cook in the world, but I'm buying the Jinmu stock right now. It's already a well-performing stock, so you may be wondering, is there room for growth? But this is a blue-chip stock, like your Toyotas, like your Coca-Colas, like your HP, and of course, like your State Farms.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
only going to grow. It's only going to get better.
Yeah, reasonable.
What a shameless salesman. Absolutely shameless. All right, I'm all in on the Shock stock. They're at number 4 at the moment, but you should only buy now because they are rising. They are rising upwards. Shock, I think this might even be the lowest point that they're going to be in the overall standings. They could become a top 2 team. They might even end up winning the whole season. 2020, 2021, this team's still looking good. So buy now, sell 7 years down the road.
Wow.
You're all good.
Hold that stock. All right, what about you, Brenji?
I'm advising everyone right now, sell your homes, your cars, your personal belongings, and buy into the Los Angeles Gladiators. I feel like that's a team that's going to be going on the up and up right now. They're sitting at a low and measly price, but they're only going to get better and better and better. I'm expecting them to actually come out on top in stage 2. I think this is a good buy. You'll be making your money back probably pretty quickly. I think I'd be a terrible financial advisor.
I like that. I like that, Brett. All right, okay. If people are going to be buying those stocks, they may need some money, might have to sell some things off. So, Hex, where can you make some?
I was really close to selling this morning, but I kind of talked myself off of it. I'm holding on Carpe, but this is the lowest Carpe stock has ever been. That Philadelphia team looked disinterested. Carpe especially looks like he needs a couple of days off. But we're going into a new meta. Maybe we can see some Widowmaker. Look, Carpe's a hard carry. He dragged Philly to the playoffs kicking and screaming last year. He can't hard carry in 3-3. Maybe Carpe can hold on to it. Not time to sell just yet, but I'm close.
Let the man DPS. What about you, Sideshow?
Well, Hex is thinking long term, but he's not going to get you any money. But right now, I'll tell you how to make the money. You sell on the Vancouver Titans. They're the highest they've ever been right now. You can't get any higher than they are. They won stage 1. They demolished. They absolutely obliterated the competition. They might not look as good in this stage. Nobody's seen them. They're certainly not going to go undefeated, I think. That would be an outrageous claim to make. So sell now, buy them later when you've seen how they perform. But there's going to be some losses thrown in there.
All right, Brent, close us out. What are you selling?
I'm so sorry to have to tell this to the majority of our viewers, but if you've still got stock into Fran, get rid of him, mate. Seriously, get it out of here. He's not coming back. I hate to be the ones to tell you. He's not going to debate you and just come waltzing in stage 3, you know, to save the Atlanta Reign. I just can't see it happening. Get rid of your excess stock. Search your cupboards. You might have something laying around, maybe a jersey or 2. Just send it away. Get it out of here.
Number TV?
Yeah,
that's the number 1 bits giver.
Number TV.
Give it to someone else. Sell
Listen,
that
no
off,
amount of bits donated is going to help that come back. You know, the Fran's not coming.
It's done. All right, one thing that you should definitely be buying is today's first match. The Fusion will take on the Mayhem in less than 10 minutes. We've got our predictions for this Overwatch League Saturday coming up right after this. It's the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. Our Saturday matches are kicking off in just a few minutes. Here is a live look at the Mayhem on this stage. The boys getting ready, fired up, looking for their second win. But they're going up against the Philadelphia Fusion, currently sitting there at 5-3. Can they get another big win? We're about to find out. Here's a look at today's official predictions. Brent and Sideshow like Philly and Toronto, but Hex has Florida and Boston. Brent is actually taking Shanghai over New York, and Sideshow is going out on his own with Paris over Chengdu. But we need to settle this. Brent, I'm going to go ahead and put 30 seconds on the clock for you to defend your Shanghai pick against Sideshow.
All right, I'm ready for this one. You remember the great battles of history. Humanity has always appreciated an underdog. The great battle of the Maldives or the Malta. The Maltese forces led by Jean d'Arparet, they led a battle 6,000 strong against 45,000 Ottomans, and they won it. What else have we got? The Battle of Helm's Deep. There was like 10,000 orcs versus 300 people and a wizard. Luke Skywalker versus the Death Star. Underdogs always win at the end of the day. I'm not going to talk about color theory because New York is actually a primary color.
Brent's calling a fourth win from Shanghai. That is going to do it for a Watchpoint pre-show. Thank you for tuning in. Stay farm. We love you. Enjoy the show, everybody.